paid program and does not necessarily reflect the views of WSIC.
I want to see the kind of industries that are opening up.
This is Local Biz Now with Joe Vagnone, where your business matters. Local Biz Now.
You have to determine what is working, what isn't working.
Joe Vagnone is a respected business broker, helping individuals buy and sell businesses. Joe has successfully owned and operated many companies in a variety of industries. This is Local Biz Now. Biz Now, because your business matters.
Yeah. You are listening to Local Biz Now. I am Joe Vagnone, where your business matters. We hope to inspire, inform, and entertain you, because that's what we do here at News Talk WSIC. 105.9 FM, 100.7 FM, 1400 AM. This is Local Biz Now, and it is the number one live talk business show in North Carolina. I'm going to prove it to you. I'm going to prove it to you because we've been doing this show going on 13 years. We have well over 900 small business owners and community leader interviews on my sexy YouTube channel. Somehow we have over 780 videos on our YouTube channel. I didn't even know I had a YouTube channel until about a year ago, but there is a lot of exceptional things on that show, and I encourage you to subscribe to Joe Vagnone Business Broker on YouTube. I have yet to find a more detailed library than our YouTube channel, with so many different playlists, a bunch of shorts, a bunch of detailed information on there. And again, well over 700 and something videos on our YouTube channel. Please go there. We are live on the book, live on the tubes, live on the X, live on the chain. If you don't know Joe Talk, that is Facebook, YouTube, X, and LinkedIn. We've been doing this show over 13 years, and we'll be happy to take your questions on the Facebook Live, WSIC's Facebook Live. And the one and only Julie is monitoring my Facebook, and she will try and get your questions to me. Julie's been with me over 10 years because everybody needs a Julie. And so please feel free to ask a question on Facebook. We'll be happy to try and get you in on that as well. You are listening to Local Biz Now. I am Joe Vagnone, and this is where your business matters. You know, I wanted to talk about something this afternoon. I have touched on this before, but I was curious because so often people are talking about small business, and locally, I'll hear people talk about this is election season, and there's business friendly leaders, and I always wondered what that meant, or exactly how important it is. And so I went to the Google. And this is some information that I felt was really interesting and intriguing, and thought that you might want to hear that as well. And one of the things that I noticed that jumped at me. Okay, first of all, I'm not making these numbers up. Now, I know if you're my wife's friend, you heard her tell you that Joe makes up his percentages. Okay, well, maybe sometimes. But I'm not making these because it came from the Google. So 99%. Now, listen, I know that sounds like an unbelievable number, but that is absolutely the number that came from the Google. 99% of all business in the United States is conducted through a small business. It, in some fashion, form, or way, even if you're buying a product or service from a very large organization, it may have very well gone through a small business owner, maybe even a couple of them, whether it's a trucking company, whether it's a light manufacturing, whether it's a piece of a product that you meant. So that's 99%. I found that number to be remarkable. The next thing that I found was 34.8 million small businesses in the United States. That does seem like a ridiculous number. 45% of all workers work for a small business. Let me say that again. 45% of all employees work for a small business. I felt that just to be remarkable. Once I found those numbers on the Google, I asked the Google about North Carolina. I was just kind of curious. And so the first thing I wanted to do before I went directly to North Carolina, I was curious what the different numbers look like in the different industries. Because in my world, I help people buy and sell small businesses, and the industry seems to matter a lot. Based on margins, based on interest, based on work ethics. It's just kind of intriguing to me. And so here's the breakdown, which I found really interesting. 98%, again, I didn't make this number to Google. 98% of construction companies are small business companies. 98% of construction. That's remarkable, especially when you see these huge organizations that you think are building these huge towers. The fact is 98% of them, there's pieces and parts of that big, huge building by small business people. Next one, leisure and hospitality, 99% are small businesses. Again, that's amazing to me because you would think there's so many franchises out there. You would relate that to be a large organization, but in fact, the franchises are owned by small businesses. Next one, trade and transportation. Again, 99% of all trade and transportation is, in fact, small business owners. And the last one, again, 99% of professionals and business services. So I know we live in a state where there's a lot of banks, but the truth is 99% of professionals and business services are being conducted by small business owners. It really is a remarkable number. The power of the small business person is undeniable in our country, and it just jumps out at you. It really is remarkable. So now let's talk about North Carolina, because I found this to be interesting, and I wanted to get a real understanding. Now, for me, you can understand, I might get a little in the weeds because obviously this is what I do for a living. I help people buy and sell small businesses. So I was curious to know what the breakdown was. There are 131,000, if you want to be exact, because the Google was exact, 131,263 small business construction companies in North Carolina. Professional businesses, scientific and technical services, 124,000 small businesses in North Carolina. I'm not done yet. These numbers really are remarkable. Other services not related to public administration, 122,000 small businesses. There are 89,000 retail trade businesses, 89,685. Transportation and warehouses, 80,000. And healthcare and social assistance, 71,000. All of those are just in North Carolina alone. I hope that the detail didn't put you to sleep and bore you, but I must tell you something. Those numbers were just simply remarkable, and I was very surprised to gather all that information, and I thought I would share that with you as well. Let's take a break. When we come back, I'm going to tell you why I think it is the perfect time to consider starting a small business. You are listening to Local Biz Now. I am Joe Vagnone, where your business matters. We'll be right back. Hello, Diane. So just so you know, even though we are now on a commercial break for the live radio, we are live on all of the social media and that sort of stuff as well. Gotcha. So if you want to make fun of somebody, now's a good time to do it, and nobody would hear that.
Okay. Let me see. I'll have to Go
So,
alphabetically.
so relax and sit back. I got another 15 minutes,
Right.
and then you're on for the rest of the show. Okay.
Sounds good.
Um,
Anything in particular you are
no, I've
curious?
gone to your website, and we're just kind of going to talk about that. And then you can take the conversation anywhere you want to go with it. The show is about me meeting you for the first time, so we all
Right.
are meeting each other at the same time. That's the
Perfect.
idea of the show, right? So take the conversation. If you don't want to answer a question, just take it in a different direction. I tell people relax because I'm no wolf blitzer. I'm not going to be asking you any follow up
Where
questions.
were you on the night of?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. Wow. Got a nice studio. So Cherie DeMayo is a big friend of mine, and I know she.
Say what?
Cherie DeMayo.
Okay. Is that how we met? Okay.
I was looking back, and the first time I contacted you was in 2022. So it's been a minute. I don't even know what prompted
Oh,
me
wow.
to do that.
Well, it's hard to believe I've been doing this show going on 13 years. I can remember when they asked me to do it one day, I thought for sure this will be the last time they need me to do this.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah. You are listening to Local Biz Now. I am Joe Vagnone, and we are coming to you live from Burner Cigar Studio, home of the finest premium cigars and cigar smokers in the world. Great people, premium cigars. Life is good at Burner Cigars, located in Brookdale Village, also in Denver on Highway 16. Burners has also opened up what they call a Burners Bottle Shop. It is on Prosperity Crossing Drive. Again, that's 5823 Prosperity Crossing Drive, Unit 4. It's a great place to go and have a beer, have a glass of wine. I actually know about it, of course, because it's branded as Burners, so they also have cigars also, but you certainly don't have to go there and smoke. It is a wonderful place to sit and hang out, and I encourage you to go by Burners' brand new bottle shop on Prosperity Crossing Drive in Unit 4. They would love to have you. Tell them Joe sent you, and your first cigar is on me. If you do not want a cigar, tell them Joe's buying your first glass of wine, and I'm sure they'll be able to take that for you as well. So, Superstar, why are you looking at me? I'm positive if they walk in there, I know I just made that up, but if they walk in there and say, I can see by the look in your eyes, you're like, they didn't say you could give away a free glass of wine. I didn't say I was going to give a free glass. Okay, they going to get a free glass of wine if they walk in there, because I see that look in your eyes right now. Okay. Let's get back to the business. I couldn't help it. Superstar was giving me that look like, man, you can't be making stuff up like that. Yes, I can. Yes, I can make stuff up. Okay, let's get back on that. So I gave you a bunch of numbers. A lot of it may not mean anything to you, but here's what it boils down to. Small business really is the pulse of the economy, not only in the country, but certainly in North Carolina. And I know that there's a lot of angst, if I can use that word, when it comes to employment. And my business really picks up a lot whenever people are uncomfortable or unsure. They decided it's time for them to consider being self-employed. So I wanted to read you a few things that I thought are happening that work in favor of considering opening up a small business. And so I wanted you to consider these things. The first thing is the tax cuts for small business are probably the strongest they have ever been. Obviously, they passed the big, beautiful bill or whatever it's called. The truth is, all the song and dance, it really is an exceptional period of time for small business owners because there's so many incentives built inside the bill itself. It's very helpful. So the point that I'm making is you can make a lot of money and not pay tax based on some of the details in the new bill. And I encourage you to get your accountant to take a look at that. The next thing is the depreciation incentives, which is, again, part of the bill, but I wanted to break it out separately. It's remarkable. So 100% of what you spend, you can actually deduct. So, for example, for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, if I were to buy whatever it is that I need, whether it's a car or whether it's a grill for a hamburger, for grilling hamburgers, that 100% of that can be deducted off of my first year, which means if I paid $10,000 for the piece of equipment and I made $10,000 at the end of the year, I don't pay any tax on that cash. That really is a great incentive for small business owners, especially when you're getting started in business. It really is a great thing to consider. The next thing is the expansion of small business gives a great deal of incentives, very similar to what the depreciation is I just described as well. So now's a great time for you to open up the second shop or to open up or expand. If you're service related, open up buy some more vans and that sort of stuff and expand your products and service line. Also, there is not a better time for domestic production, domestic manufacturing. Julie and I are selling a furniture manufacturing company, and in North Carolina, it is the perfect time to consider purchasing manufacturing right now or starting manufacturing, because the push for domestic production is so strong that, in fact, there are a lot of people that have no choice. They're going to look for local manufacturing, or at least United States manufacturing, where otherwise they wouldn't have done that. So the competition could be substantially reduced in those areas. Next thing is hiring credits and investment credits. Don't want to bore you into the details, but there's a substantial amount of value in hiring and also in investing in small businesses that's very helpful for small business owners. One of the last things I want to talk about is the regulatory rollbacks that have been happening. It was in the first Trump administration. It's happened the same in the second Trump administration. Listen, I don't care what your politics is. I'm telling you, when you have less regulations, you have less expenses, and you can move faster. You can open up businesses faster. You can expand your business faster. It really is about timing and the cash required during that timing. So that's why regulations and a reduction of those are very helpful for small business people, especially when you're either merging and or starting new. Now, it's a great time to start a small business because of these particular things that I'd mentioned to you. I will tell you this. It is, and we're going to talk to somebody that is quite knowledgeable about this, but the question is, do you buy an existing business or do you start from scratch? And we're going to talk to somebody on the next part of the show that is going to be able to help you answer some of those questions. I actually saw some videos that she did that were just really sort of insightful. And so we can have those conversations, and you certainly can decide whether it is a start from scratch, whether it is partner with family and friends, or whether it is buy something that is existing. Here's what I would tell you about partners. I tell people this all the time. Partners are expensive money. There's a reason why you need a partner. Most of the time, it is the cash they provide. I will tell you that's probably the worst reason to take on a partner for financial reasons. The best reason to take on a partner is because they can help you provide the product and service that it is you're providing. If they're actually involved in the business, it is a in my opinion, is a good, healthy relationship. It should be mutually beneficial on both sides. And if you find that happening, a partnership is good and healthy. You have to make sure your interests are mutually aligned. If they are not, the odds are you're going to find yourself in a relationship that you wish you were not in. Feel free to look some of this stuff up. You know, one of the things we started doing, which is, I got to say, it's new to us. We start investigating partners for our clients, people we intend on doing business with, owners of vendors and that sort of stuff, because character matters. And in this day and age where you're dealing with multi-state, multi-unit owners and operators, you really do have to know who you're dealing with and where they're coming from. We talked a little bit about that in a past show. And so who the partner is, who the owner is, what their interests are they mutually aligned with yours, are really important. If you start focusing in that regard, I think you will find that partners becomes a natural fit, or it's really not a good fit and it doesn't work out to your advantage. The last thing I want to say about the current times and opening a small business, if you've already got a small business and you're in this uncertain time, no question there are a bunch of uncertainties in all of this. I would tell you this: stay focused, concentrate. I bring all of these details up because the next half of the show, we're going to talk to somebody that will be able to help us with some of these things. But there are ways to strategically reduce prices, strategically expand your market. Instead of thinking backwards, think forwards, think bigger, try and grow and expand in a way that you probably haven't thought of in the past. Now is going to be a really good time to expand, although it won't be same old, same old. I think you're going to have to try and look in different directions. Find the creative side of you. You know, there was a reason why you got in business years ago. Find out what that is and start to expand on that in a positive way with a positive mental approach. The intentional view of what the future can look like is probably going to be a good, healthy way for you to start. And again, we're going to talk about some of that in the next half of the show when we get there. So I bring all of this stuff out because I want you to be one of the next small business owners out there. I want you to be one of the next 34.8 million small business owners out there. And North Carolina certainly is one of the top 4 or 5 states in the country that is picking up about 22 to 24,000 people that are coming here on a monthly basis. About 10% of them are buying businesses before they come. So look forward to being a part of our small business community. You are listening to Local Biz Now. I am Joe Vagnone. And if it is Monday afternoon, your business matters. We'll be right back. We don't take calls here. We've never done it. Years ago, the show it used to be in the morning, Friday morning. Mm-hmm. And so it was between Harold Johnson, took calls in the morning for the morning show. Right. And then it was right before they have this swap meet where people call in. And I know that sounds crappy, but people call like crazy.
I used to be in radio, so I get it.
Okay.
And in Asheville, they had one like that. And
yeah. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
So they would call in, and they would either want to know if they could put their name in for the birthday, or they had some tires to sell.
Right, exactly.
You know, so we just stopped doing it.
Yeah.
So that was years ago. Now what we do is we just try and answer and work with on Facebook and that sort of stuff, and I'll check it out from time to time. People on Facebook. So to answer your question, we do, but it would only be on Facebook.
Social, yeah.
Right. Okay. So are you ready?
I am.
All right.
We're going to talk about what I had for dinner last night, right?
You know about whatever you want. All right.
Oh, storytelling. Oh, okay. Got a while. So did you just kind of stumble into this while you were doing your other thing? Or?
Yeah. Years ago, a good friend of mine, a small business coach, asked me to fill in with him at WSIC, which was in Statesville at the time. That's where the tower is.
Right.
And I drove up there and did the show with him. And he was this really, really smart guy. His primary business years ago, he was an actuarium. So he's very detail oriented.
Yeah.
And so as much as he loved the radio thing, as much he has great amount of information,
Right.
the personality
Didn't translate.
he needed somebody like
Yeah.
me to
Bounce
play off of
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
you know. And so after the first show, I just kind of took control,
Yeah.
you know, because that's my personality,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then it was just a natural fit that Wayne and I would continue doing this.
Yeah.
So we did it for about 4 or 5 years together. Then he retired,
Yep.
and then I just kept doing the
Kept
show.
Yeah.
And so now what we try and do is have co-hosts
Mm-hmm.
every month.
Uh-huh.
This particular month, we're trying with no co-host, but normally I would have somebody in here to bounce off of.
Right.
Like you could tell there's some ramble at the end of that conversation and end of that talk, because what I'm trying to do is time. I didn't want to start another
Right.
topic that I couldn't finish, right? And so,
Exactly.
I'm trying to work through what it looks like and how long it takes
Yeah.
for that half hour, the first half of the half hour, because for years I've had a co-host,
To bounce off. Yeah.
and so we haven't quite figured out how we're going to do that yet.
Yeah.
And so you are the first week of no
Oh,
co-host
no co-host.
in 12 years.
Oh my
And
God.
so, right.
Well, yay. Timing's everything.
So
Very
anyways, so we're trying to tweak the format a little bit.
Yeah. Yep.
And it's been,
It takes a lot. Scheduling people and the time and the prep and the whole thing, I know.
well, that's what Wayne said, and I
Yeah.
laughed at him. And Julie's been taking it over, and she tells
Yeah.
me it takes 30% of her time to do it.
Oh, wow.
So it's a lot.
It is a lot.
It's much more than what most people would think.
Oh, for sure.
It's certainly much more than what I thought.
Reality check.
Yeah, right. You got Julie all riled up. Yes, it does take time.
Oh,
She's you're her new friend now.
I'm
You understand
with
that?
you, Julie. Oh my God, I used to host a legislative show for an hour by myself.
Yeah. You are listening to the #1 live talk business show in North Carolina, coming to you from Berner's Cigar Studio, home of the finest premium cigars and cigar smokers in the world. Great people, premium cigars. Life is good at Berner Cigars, located in Birkdale Village and in Denver on Highway 16. Also, please go by their brand new Berner's Bottle Shop, which is in Prosperity Crossing, Unit 4. Go on by there. Tell them Joe sent you. And I don't care what Superstar says. You go by there, they'll give you a free cigar or a free drink of your choice. We appreciate it. This is Local Biz Now, where we hope to inspire, inform, and entertain you, because that's what we do here at News Talk WSIC. 105.9 FM, 100.7 FM, 1400 AM. I am Joe Vagnone. This is Local Biz Now, where your business matters. And today's guest is a master in the world of business storytelling. She's not just a founder and CEO, she is a certified genius in helping leaders turn their stories into strategy. Dianne Chase is the powerhouse behind Chase Media, and she brings a boldness and a clarity and a passion to her storytelling workshops, which I cannot wait to talk about. And she is a wonderful storytelling concept that is full of transformation for leaders, branding, and culture. And in this moment, I hope that you will buckle up, grab a cup of coffee, settle in, because we're about to dig deep into a unique area of authentic influencing and storytelling. Dianne, thank you so much for being here.
Oh, it's a pleasure, Joe. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
So, Dianne, I don't know how we met. I don't remember, but your name seems familiar. Have you been on the show years ago?
No, I haven't. But I first reached out to you. I was looking back, and it was 2022. And so
You're starting to show our age. You know that,
yeah, I know. I was a prodigy. Come on. But I come from the radio soup, so I am a recovering broadcast journalist, and I've been a news director, anchor, reporter for much of my career, and started Chase Media and Communication in 2000 when I was actually still working in the news business in radio. So I go back a ways.
I tell people I've been doing this for 13 years. I am a 13-year amateur.
Keep on learning. You got to keep on learning.
So I went to your website and I started doing some research on. I did the Google thing, right? And the amount of information and data on you is like never ending. It was hard for me to say.
Wow.
Dianne does X, right?
Right.
So kind of walk me through that. How would you define Chase Media?
Chase Media is all about helping people communicate more successfully about what they do, why they do it, why anyone should care, so that they can achieve their goals. So it ranges, Joe, across the spectrum of human communication. And my passion for this work came from my years in the news business, where I was interviewing people. I was asking them to tell me their story, give me some information that needed to be shared, whether it was good times or bad times. So I do crisis communication work as well. And people, I found, just struggled to really communicate effectively. I also have a teaching DNA. I've taught at the college level a few places. And so my passion for communication skills and my teaching DNA led me to start my work helping people communicate more successfully.
Watching you, looking at you, right? I can tell. I told my wife and Julie, who's been with me over 10 years, listen, I'm a horrible reader. I'm a horrible speller, right? I can't write. And now I got the Terminator, you understand, the AI. So I told my wife and Julie, they're obsolete. I no longer need them now, because what I know people like you can do is write so that people actually understand and will act in a way that you want. That's a real skill, you understand?
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
It's an art, it's a science, and it's a skill. And it just because most of us can speak and we have 2 ears does not mean we can communicate.
Right.
So it's all about creating meaning. If you were talking about your business, how are you, first of all, developing your key message to help share your unique value proposition? And it has to be in words that resonate with whether you have an audience of one, if you're trying to sell an idea, a product, a service, a value for your company. What are the words that you're using to connect that resonate with the person you're talking to?
I think we've got a mutual friend, Cherie DeMeo.
Yes.
Around here, a Local Biz Now, we call her number one. You understand?
Wow.
We adore her. You understand?
Yeah.
So we call her number one. And it wasn't until I met her, and you realize it's only people that are really good at what you're describing, and you can see it implemented. Do you realize there is a difference? Right. I mean, these aren't words that you're describing, right? There really is a skill and an actual art to the things you're describing you can help people with. That's got to be hard to sell, because unless you've been beat across the head with it like somebody like me, you don't know the difference, right? Between the I'm showing my age, the Pinto and the Buick. You don't know the difference until you get in it and shut the door and try and drive it.
And then you wonder why you're frustrated
Right.
by people. Here's what you keep in mind. You mentioned earlier about finding a good business partner. So what does success look like? And be very clear on that. But what is it in your communication that you want people to think, feel, and do? And you have to really be clear. You have to have engagement through your personal style, your tone of voice, and you have to have this very clear, purposeful message. So again, what is it you want people to think or understand, feel, and do? What does success look like? What's the action that you want to happen through your communication, verbal or written?
And then I watch some of the things you do. It's also got to do with the culture of the actual
100%.
Business. And I got to tell you something. I know very few small business people that know how to dictate their culture. They might have one, and it might even be good, right? Most of the time, they don't know what it is, but they couldn't duplicate it, and that's why they can't duplicate their business. They can't continue to grow, because what they've created, they can't duplicate in a way that is healthy moving forward.
Right.
That, again, we're talking about something that is easy to say, but very hard to do.
It really is, Joe. And again, opening up your mind as a business owner to the fact that you're not letting yourself be as successful as possible if you don't really dig into your communication and presentation skills. It's human to human communication, because we're in the world of AI. And if what you do could be replaced by a robot, heads up. What can't be replaced by a robot is human to human communication with empathy, with concern, with context, with real relationship building. You're not going to build a relationship with an AI tool. You're going to use an AI tool to help you figure out how to build a relationship with your key stakeholders. And how are you going to communicate? Again, nothing successful happens with poor communication or no communication.
Isn't it interesting that all of the tech is taking people away from personal communication, and it really is the one thing the skill set they need to
Right,
have to
exactly.
have to move forward.
It's the differentiator. When everyone else is, I mean, we go to the store and there's a robot going by cleaning the floor. We go to a restaurant and there's a robot taking our order. So where are you going to differentiate yourself? You're going to do that by the way you communicate with another human.
Right. Let's take a break. We'll come back and we'll dig in some more.
Okay.
You are listening to Local Biz Now. I am Joe Vagnone. We are talking with a genius in business storytelling. We're going to talk about your workshop when we come back.
Awesome.
Dianne Chase with Chase Media. If it is Monday afternoon, your business matters. We'll be right back.
Cool.
Hey, Julie, Dave is here. Tell Dave we got to get Dave back on the air soon. I haven't seen Dave in a long time. You know, gets cold and he comes back from the beach. So, is there something you want to talk about? Is there a direction you want to go? I've made a note to talk a little bit about the book. Have you finished the book, or you're?
It's soon. It's going to be published any day now.
Okay.
My publisher's in California.
So send me a copy because it's one of the things we do. We love to get authors back on, and then we'll have you back, and we'll actually talk about the book.
Fabulous. That would be fantastic.
And it's sort of the direction the show's been going. A lot more authors, you know.
Yeah. Well, authors appreciate that.
Well, because after 900. Almost 1,000 small business people in the area. I mean,
yeah.
I got to move in some direction. Can't keep interviewing the same pizza
people.
shop owner.
Well, maybe you get free pizza, but whatever.
Superstar, you told me to get ready.
Oh, that's ready.
I like picking on him. That was not 10 seconds. Yeah. You are listening to Local Biz Now. I am Joe Vagnone, and I am here with the genius business storytelling master, Dianne Chase. She is the founder and CEO of Chase Media. Dianne, thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate it.
This is great. I love it. Thank you so much.
So if somebody wanted to reach you, how could they do that?
I kind of live on LinkedIn. So look up Dianne, 2 N's, Chase, on LinkedIn, and my website, chasemedia.us, is another good place to send a contact and get an overview of some of the areas that I offer in terms of communication, consulting, training, workshops, seminars. I do presentations, speaking engagements.
So, if there's somebody listening, and in my world, it'll probably be through one of the shorts we make or the video that we make, right? What does a buyer profile look like? What is it that you think you can help somebody with the most? What does that look like?
Oh gosh, well, every successful human needs successful communication skills. As Steve Jobs said, the most powerful person in the world is the storyteller, because they shape the vision of the future. So I love working with left brain people, manufacturing people, chemical people, lawyers, financial executives, because they
don't know how to be creative.
they kind of lean to the left when they walk, because they have that heavy left brain. So when I open up the right side of the brain, they go, wow. Now I can, now I get it. So how do you turn statistics into stories, for instance? Right. How do you provide a narrative? The 2 keys are to create a mental image and an emotional connection. The superhighway to the brain, back to getting people to think, feel, and do something, is through the heart. So create a visual in my mind. Say
that one more time. I really like that.
Create a visual in my mind.
No, you were talking about through the heart.
Oh, the superhighway to the head is through the heart.
Okay, that's really interesting. Let me tell you why I like that, because I've been telling, Julie and I put together these confidential memorandums, which is this detailed piece of information for the business,
Sure.
right? And you got to be genuine. I mean, you got to.
Right.
There's good and bad in all of these businesses, right?
Absolutely.
And I tell the sellers, we're going to create a story, the current story, and we're going to try and tell a story of what could be
The future.
in the future. So when I hear you say this, I get about 20% of it, right? You know, I get just enough to understand. I don't know how to do it, right?
Right.
And we do our best to do that.
Right.
But we get what it is that you're trying to say. So as a salesperson, the story is the best way to keep somebody engaged.
Right.
So that we got a chance to present them with opportunities they might be interested in.
Exactly. And I want to hear from you. So my workshops are all about using a personal story to convey a business message. So you look at websites because storytelling is now like, the hot thing. So they change about us to our story. 9 times out of 10, it's not a story.
It's right.
It's a timeline. We were created on this date, on this place, and that's fine. Keep it on there, absolutely. But it doesn't tell me about you.
Right.
Again, why do you do what you do, and why should I care?
And
why
that's
should I
why
do business
somebody
with
wants
you?
to do business with you.
Exactly right. Because what does it boil down to? Trust.
It's
I'm not going to
Right.
give you my money if I'm like, I don't know. You're talking all about your, features
Right.
and benefits,
Right.
but I don't really connect with you.
I tell people I've been doing this show for 13 years. I used to think people wanted to know what their margins are and how
Yep.
profitable they don't. They want to know about the owner.
Absolutely.
And if they like the owner, they'll do business with. They'll look them up. They'll do a lot of work to find them. Right.
Exactly right. It has to be a good fit. Back to that culture piece. So I'm a member of XPX, Exit Planning Exchange, and it's a fabulous group. And I'm a bit of a unicorn in there because it is tons of M&A people and financial people, fractional CFOs, and that kind of thing. But the awareness is growing that, as I tell them, no one wants to buy someone else's problem. If you have a toxic culture, if you have, somebody who's doing great with,
Right.
with the numbers, but is creating a horrible culture and people are looking for the door every time, you hire somebody, that's not sustainable. Nobody wants that. And quite frankly, as a business owner, is that the kind of legacy you want to leave?
Well, I heard you have that talk because I watched it on one of your videos.
Oh, okay.
I interpret it as a small business broker. I help people buy small businesses, and I heard that, and it really was on point that somebody wants to sell their business. If they have this unhealthy culture,
Right.
they don't have a good lead generation, they
Right.
certainly don't have a good story, and they don't really represent or make a buyer feel good or inspire about the future. They have devalued their brand substantially.
Absolutely.
I never thought of that
Yeah.
until I heard you say
Yay.
that in
Awesome.
your video online. So it really kind of hit a moment for me.
Yeah.
That not only is it the story for them, it really will determine their future or value of the company that they're creating.
Absolutely. Value is more than the bottom line. It is your brand equity and your reputation in the marketplace, your credibility in the marketplace. And again, it comes down to how you're communicating. And you're communicating by what you say, how you say it, your verbal, your vocal, your visual, when you're meeting with someone, when you're conveying even through an email. What is your tone of voice? What are the words you're using? And are you making a connection, or do you sound like more white noise?
So do they know they got a problem when they come to you, or do
Well,
they, I mean,
it's
because
been interesting.
My experience is most people don't realize they're missing the mark, right?
Right.
Because they're sharp, intelligent people.
Absolutely.
So it's not until you run into somebody like you or Cherie DeMayo that you realize these words really matter. I mean, they actually connect, right?
Yes,
You know?
or not.
Right, that's right. Well, you never know. You always think it's something else if it doesn't connect, right?
right.
You know what I mean?
It's all about
it's
them.
only when
Yeah.
we see how good you ladies are at this, right, that we realize, oh, wow, I can't do that.
Yeah, yeah. I really need to up my game and learn some new skills. Exactly right. And here's the harsh thing I say in my workshops and when I'm working with professionals: it's no one else's job to understand what you're trying to get them to think, feel, or do. It's your job, your responsibility to communicate in a way that creates what you want to create. And again, self-awareness, as you're talking about, a lot of people are just oblivious to the fact, but how many times do we get frustrated?
Right.
And we say, oh my God, why did they not do this like I told them? Or why
Don't
did
they understand?
Don't they
what-
get it? And they
Yeah.
just didn't, they didn't produce as they were supposed to. And I told them 14 times. Well, maybe you didn't tell them in a way that made any sense to them.
So I can see, I'm guessing here when I say this, right? You go to visit somebody that thinks they need you for one thing, and there's probably about 20 that they really. Does that happen? You know,
Yes.
once they get in,
Opens
and,
up
I guess I
the-
could help. I guess I could use you for this. I guess I could use you for this. I could,
Yeah, exactly right. And the Pandora's box, right?
So there's two things I want to talk about.
Okay.
The first thing I want to talk about is your storytelling workshop.
Yes.
Can you really teach somebody like me that is not skilled and capable at this to get better at this?
Absolutely, 100%. Now,
Because a workshop like this for somebody like Julie and I would help us, right, be able to present
Right.
the business in this story that we're looking for,
Absolutely.
what the future could be kind of scenario.
Right. The vision piece.
Right.
And so again, it gets back to understanding the art, the science, and the skills and practicing. We go through different modules. We talk about the basic understanding of the research out there about how humans communicate. It's fascinating. You can really dork out on the neuroscience. They hooked some folks up to a functional MRI and showed them PowerPoints and bullet points and, features and benefits information. And one side of the brain lit up, left side, right? So they took all of that information and wrapped it in a narrative. Kept the data, the facts, the figures. You got it. You need that, but put it in a narrative. The person's whole brain lit up.
Interesting.
I know, right? And so that's where you're understood, you're remembered, and you're retold. Your story is retold, which creates so much more power in the marketplace.
And my experience is it inspires them. If you do it right, you can inspire them to action, which is what
Absolutely.
I need, right?
Exactly. That's the top of the grid that I work with in the workshop, the inspirer.
That's right. I need that, right? Because I got to inspire you to write a check. That's not an easy task.
Exactly.
Okay. We don't have a lot of time, but secretively, I know you slipped up and let me know that you're almost finished writing a book. The
Well,
7
it's-
C's of the new communication compass. Do I have that correct?
Exactly right. And the subhead is Insights, Inspiration, and Strategies for Navigating Future Forward Success. We can't keep communicating in the old ways. We have to up our game for the future.
Right. Absolutely. And when the book comes out, how can they get it?
Online, we're going to do ebook, Kindle,
I'm going to get you back.
paperback, hardback.
I would just send it to me. I'm going to read it. I'm going to get you back, and we're going to talk about it.
Fabulous. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you so much for being here.
This is wonderful. Thank you.
You are talking to Dianne Chase with Chase Media. Go and learn how to tell a story correctly. This is Local Biz Now, where your business matters. You're talking to Chase Media CEO Dianne Chase. We'll see you next week.
Serving you better than ever before. WSIC, Statesville, W290DK Mooresville, W260.